time flies when you're swinging through the city. It's been more than a year since the release of Spider-Man 2, and Insomniac Games have added a bunch of new content to the game since then. With the release of the PC version coming at the end of the month, plus the news that there is no planned story DLC in the game's future, we thought it would be a good time to look back at the dozens of new features, cosmetics, and bug fixes that have been introduced to the game post-release. Here's everything that's been added to Marvel's Spider-Man 2 since launch. Some of the earliest updates for the game weren't especially large, but they did make important changes. Version 1.001.002 included a few small settings options to tweak, like new vibration and controller speaker settings. They also added an auto-heal feature that players could enable for help with staying alive during combat, as well as a high-contrast perfect parry accessibility setting to assist with combat clarity. The next patch occurred after fans pointed out that Cuban flags were used in and around Miles' apartment, despite the fact that he and his mother are actually Puerto Rican. Insomniac responded to this error swiftly by replacing the Cuban flags with Puerto Rican flags and apologizing for the mistake.
I can't believe I just did that.
Now, the first big update for the game was 1.002, released in March of 2024, and the headline feature here was New Game Plus. This highly requested feature allowed players to start the game all over again with their endgame save files in order to chase a higher level cap, golden gadget styles, new tech tree unlocks, and new symbiote suit styles. Other features were added to the base game as well, such as mission replay, time of day settings, a new action figure photo mode feature, and new suits. 2 Hellfire Gala suits were added free of charge, while the Gamehead's Fly and Fresh suit pack was added to the PlayStation Store as part of a fundraiser event for $5. Once the fundraiser event finished in April, the pack was delisted before being made free for all to download in October of 2024. The accessibility settings suite, which was already robust at launch, was extensively updated in this patch as well. Audio descriptions were added to provide descriptions of events during cutscenes.
Genki motions for them to walk off and Miles trails them. He and Peter give half-hearted waves to one another.
As well as a screen reader function that would narrate text from the menus and tutorials of the game.
Hold square button, air launch.
More features like motion sensor aiming, high contrast outlines, in-world text translations, and numerous quality of life improvements for base game settings were brought in too. Putting all of the 1.002 additions together made this the largest singular update that the game ever received.
My suit is sandy in all the wrong places. Might be time for a change.
The big feature of June's 1.003 update was more suits. The Metro, Shinga, Fluoro, and Motor Chic suits were created in partnership with special guest collaborators Kid Super, Vinny Jr., Lando Norris, and Rina Sawayama. 4 more reprisal suits were also included, bringing back some fan favorites from the 2 previous Spider-Man games to Spider-Man 2. These were the Last Stand and Into the Spider-Verse suits for Peter, and the Animated and Uptown Pride suits for Miles. A gameplay option was also added in this update to let players choose which type of traversal/parry powers they wanted to use when playing as Peter, the symbiote or spider arm abilities. This includes a fun toggle that can synchronize Peter's abilities to his suits, so his powers will always match with the suit that he happens to be wearing at the time. This version also includes a slew of bug fixes, quality of life improvements, and accessibility changes to make the game more polished.
The suit's last software patch wasn't stable, but here goes nothing!
Update 1.004 was released in October of 2024, ahead of the launch of the PlayStation 5 Pro, and this patch focused primarily on adding new graphics settings to the game for the new console, allowing PS5 Pro owners to choose between Performance Pro or Fidelity Pro graphics modes. Performance Pro mode is the default, and it pairs the 60 frames per second gameplay of the base console's performance mode with the extra graphical detail and ray tracing of the base console's Fidelity mode, the best of both worlds. The new Fidelity Pro mode targets 30 frames per second while also enabling new experimental ray tracing settings. Separate ray tracing toggles were also added for use on the PS5 Pro to allow players to flex the new capabilities of the hardware just the way that they wanted to. During New York Comic Con 2024 and later on the PlayStation blog, Insomniac Games confirmed that a PC version of the game was coming in 2025, while also confirming that there is, quote, no additional story content planned for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Players had long been speculating if Spider-Man 2 would receive DLC, as Spider-Man on PS4 was promptly followed up with The City That Never Sleeps DLC pack. We can pretty confidently say now that Spider-Man 2 is feature complete, but Insomniac has a track record of bringing surprise-free updates to their games over the last decade, so there may be more to come for the latest Spidey adventure. We're just gonna have to wait and find out. What's your favourite addition that they've made to the game since launch? Be sure to let us know in the comments. And if you're loading up the game for the very first time on PC, or you're trying to get that precious Platinum trophy, we've got plenty of guides, walkthroughs, and an interactive map in our Spider-Man 2 wiki. For all other things